Yeah, all right. Well, I basically started the Amsterdam Meetup about two years ago. From a surprise point of view, like, hey, there's meetups in Jakarta, in Detroit, and all over the world, but why not in Amsterdam? So Bart from the Blender Nation told me, like, hey, why don't you do it? So that's what I started. As far as numbers, we started in April 2014. We meet approximately 4 times per year. We have a very nice location that's so kind to host us. This is ZB45, it's a maker zone. So to give you a little bit of a view here, we have 3D printers, laser cutters, and they're so nice to host us for the last couple of meetups. We have a lot of members at the meetup, but as far as active shows, overall there's about 60, and so I need to clean out all these people that just want to join a meetup because it looks cool to be part of the Blender meetup. So there's all these people, yeah, they're a part of like a whole bunch of meetups, but they're never going to show up. But luckily we have a lot of inspired people here and talented artists that usually join up. What I also like, it's a social part to build a community. And there's a couple of people that we actually, you know, it's good networking resource. And there's also some people that actually I did a project with here and there. So it's fruitful, and that's what I'm getting out of it. We have a couple of presentations. The first one is from Patrick Nomé. Oh. So, yeah, because Matthijs is still on the way in the train to our venue. Patrick, the floor is yours. So you would.
Okay. Hi. I've been working on this for a while. There we go. It's basically a story I started about 20 years ago, which I tried to make into a comic. I'm just trying to be clever here, you know. The story was about a boy who loses his dog, and it turns out that his dog is living in a parallel world under the park. It was something that I kept on working on as a physical model, which is, whoops, let me just try and get there. I tried to build it in reality, in a forced perspective, and it was fine, but it just kept taking forever. You can see how much younger I was then. And then in somewhere in the year 2000, I saw Blender and I started trying to think, can I build this in this way? Well, it's taken me quite a few years to, get that far that I started building the facades here. I first tried to build them all in mesh, and then I discovered that it ain't working. And so basically I UV mapped all the meshes over and slowly started making it somewhat easier to use. Basically I've got like the main object is over here, and that's where the view is. These other objects are background fillers, and then the horizon over the back here. I divided it up into scenes to try and make it easier to compute, but I don't know what it is, but using scenes for animation, Blender has a habit of giving me errors. So eventually what I did was I ended up doing it without the depth of field and that sort of thing. David, I've got some animations that I can refer back to. Can I make this like sort of smaller that I can get back to the... And then the map is...
And then the finer.
It'll be over here. Animations. Yeah. Whoops. No. There we go.
Nice.
A while ago, I had a look at trying to make a fly-through, just to have a look at how the movement is. kind of funny. The plants there were all exploding because they're made with the particle system. And then the black, that's closed. Yep. Okay. And last weekend I tried to do it again. There we go.
Lovely.
With the textures. It took me about 4 days to render this. And the problems are is the huge amount of reflections. And you look at this on a high resolution screen, you can actually see that the noise on the glass stays static while the camera's moving, which I'm not too happy about, but that's a challenge for another time.
So we got when you got the audio on there, I didn't.
Somebody's got their audio on, yeah.
For
some reason.
Perhaps you have to view your camera.
For some reason, not again. This is one of the joys. We actually fixed this over here, and it's now. Find missing files.
Desktop. Sorry, where's the desktop?
And then.
Yeah, there.
Yeah.
Press deze top.
Okay.
There you go.
And actually now, when I go back here, yeah. There we go. Sorry, I'm feeling horribly lost here with this. I'm trying to find the animation map again.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Okay. There we go. Yeah.
Nice. Should we get these lights on? Because I'm just silhouetted right now.
Basically, this is like a year's work of tweaking.
Nice. Wow, those are flickery.
Yeah, well, they're all just snapshots from from progress, and then that's how far I'm at the most.
Before I came. I promise it was working.
Okay. Basically, the crane shot is from this shot to the next shot, and I discovered because I was just basically using these to build up while I was modeling, and I discovered that I had one sensor on here, which was part of my one camera, and a completely different sensor here. So when you see the crane shot, it has like a weird distortion, which is basically just a blender adjusting to the sensor size. Yeah, that's the two crane shots. Still work in progress. Whoops. Basically, on the one rooftop, I'm building a caravan park, and on the street, I'm busy making like a cleaning unit. These are stuff that's going to be in the coming period. Also, in the scene, starting to work on the characters. It's basically the boy that I started with, and that's the one corner there that you can see there.
Oh, right.
If I can make this small again, and hopefully find the animation. There.
You have liftoff. Thanks for the attention.
Very dark, yes, Paul.
The only question is, can I stream screen?
Yeah, this was my first test when I finally got around to doing the rigging. It was kind of funny because at some point...
Screen, then I could just cut my resolution down.
Paul, could you mute?
Don't emphasize this.
basically, while I was doing this before I was doing the renders, just to see what was going on. And I was thinking, there's something wrong with his face. I couldn't quite figure it out. And then later on,
Black eye.
Yeah, well, later on, when I actually made like a render, it took like half the day and a half. And then I thought, hang on a minute, his eye's missing. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's looking around, and there it is, up there. It's up there. It was like
There it is.
It was a little bit late. And then basically, after that, I started playing around a little with the camera, trying to attach them here. And also, I've obviously worked a little bit more on the textures and stuff like that. After that, okay, there's all the shots. Blender has this thing that you can actually scrub through this on the timeline, but it goes very, very choppy, which is why I didn't want to do it here. This is just for the future. These are the next two characters that I'm working on, the old guy and the prime guy. And after that, I've got to start working on the underground, which is basically, I want to be able to go through the city and start looking at how the city's connected up together. And that's it. If you Google Pet Dog Blender, you'll find my Blender artists posts, and then I've also got some stuff on there, and also a website linking to these things. Okay, thank you. That was it.
Next, I think since Matthijs is still on his way here, I'll give the floor to Monique. Monique is working on the development of an education program for children. And we know Monique is a very active member of the Blender community. But she better tells herself. Monique.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
I might clean up this desktop a little.
Yeah. Let's see. Where's the presentation? It's here. Do you have the Facebook? Sure.
Ja. Je kan misschien dat pen.
Okay. I can tell a bit about the projects that I've been doing. I'm a Blender developer. I'm currently helping Jeroen, who is sitting behind me, away from the camera, I guess, on compositing. We are currently developing a prototype for deep image compositing and canvas compositing. And but that's a lot of work, and we can't show anything at the moment. Well, I can show you something, but then you only see calculations, and that's a bit boring. One of the projects that I'm also doing in my spare time is developing some lessons for kids to learn Blender and a bit about 3D. So David asked me to tell a bit about the project that I've been doing in the past months. One project that I've been doing is a project for which was sponsored by the city of Amsterdam. And basically in 8 weeks' time, they are going to learn to develop a game from scratch in Blender. So we came up with the idea for a labyrinth game, where they had to model a labyrinth, a ball, an endpoint, and all the logic to move the ball towards the endpoint. The kids, or the students, had no experience with Blender, and still they took upon the challenge. I think I'm looking a bit to River. How many kids did you have, students? Around 15?
Around 50.
Yeah, I think it was 15 kids. Well, we didn't have more room for more children. So here you can see a picture of one of the students busy modeling their labyrinth and adding some game logic to it. They had 8 weeks I think 4 hours per week from school, and well, most of them continued in their spare time because they were so anxious about creating their game that at the final presentation we were quite amazed what they came up with. The idea was in 8 weeks' time they had to create a very simple basic game, and then they had 2-3 weeks left to extend it with either 2 more levels, 3 more levels, and design their own labyrinth game, design their own hooks. And it was pretty amazing what they came up with. These are a few pictures of what they had developed. And they ran into quite some issues, but somehow they managed to get everything working, and some didn't manage to get things working, but they quite learned a lot from it. So it was pretty amazing what they could do in 8 weeks' time. Currently, I'm setting up a website as well, where all the material will be freely available. Then, I think 2 weeks ago, no, last week?
Last weekend.
This was the final presentation, where we invited Francesco and Chielti to pick the winner. And it was really nice that the Blender Institute could join. And he was the winner, one of the winners. Okay, and if you want to watch it, go to the Facebook page and you can watch the whole video. And let's see, last week we did a Coder Dojo, and we had 53 kids who signed up and also showed up. So it was, luckily there were a lot of parents there, including David, to help out. But yeah, there were 53 kids. We made a simplified version of the labyrinth game, and especially River, who's sitting behind me, worked on that. And there's also an add-on with, I think, the leap motion, where they could do a simple animation with the leap motion. And that was pretty amazing. And we had 53 kids busy with modeling, creating their game. And the parents at the beginning watched for a while, and after that they moved out of the class. But it was so crowded. I think in 2 days' time the Coder Dojo was already full. And then they had a waiting list of a lot of, I think, 20 kids. And at the end they said, okay, you all come. It was quite successful. I think we're planning to do a Coder Dojo in May on animation. And yeah, this is River showing his leap motion. And yeah, this is really pretty amazing. It was really amazing how easy kids could work with Blender. There is a learning curve though, because the interface is quite difficult and it's really difficult for them to grasp. But during the 8 weeks project, we could see a point, I think after 5 weeks, where all the kids started just playing with Blender, yeah. Not struggling with the interface anymore. So that was really cool to see. And they managed to find things on the internet, Google around, and also apply it. Yeah, they were really enthusiastic. Also at the presentations, they started giving their game very nice names, like the Labyrinth from Hell, or that sort of thing. And they wanted to have lava and fire, so they were really being creative. And it took quite a while to answer all the questions. So this is a bit about the projects that we've been doing, mainly in Amsterdam. The next thing that we'll be doing for Blender 101 is the Leeds Young Festival, which is a festival in Leeds, and they've asked us to do 2 days of workshop, a Blender workshop with kids. So that's coming up in March, and then I think in May the next Coder Dojo. So All the lessons will be online soon, I hope. Will be freely available for anyone who wants to go out there and teach Blender to kids, or just sit together with your kids and together learn Blender. So that's a bit about Blender 101.
Thank you.
Here you go.
Okay. Are people still listening somewhere? Even kijken.
Yes, we're listening. Excellent presentation.
Okay. We got Matthijs, who just arrived here from far away Houten. So Matthijs did some really cool, nifty science fiction stuff that he likes to show.
Right. So where did you put it?
Matthijs.
Nice. All right. So I suppose my screen shared now. Okay. Well, I'm Matthijs de Rijk. I do a lot of freelance work, but also a lot of portfolio building. And this project is actually mostly portfolio building. Last month, I took a month free from everything, and I started focusing on one project. First, my idea was to make a game, but that didn't really work out. So I started messing around in Blender, making some spaceships, and I thought, well, let's make an animation about this. So I started with some where's it? Sorry, word. Yeah, with some shots that I oh, it's starting in Photoshop. Well, I guess it works.
Sorry, I don't.
Oh, I'm not used to Mac, as you see.
Spatieballen kan je ook niet.
Ja,
doen.
spatieballen.
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 Nee, op de nek.
Ja, ik weet niet. Ah,
Escape.
okay, yeah, that's it.
Pijltje naar beneden.
Okay, so I started. Well, I made a logo for the animation, and I thought about, well, in space, you're going at near light speeds, or even faster in some fantasy worlds. So things that would occur to you are blue shift and red shift. Red shift is when you move away from things, and blue shift is when you move towards things. So I thought, well, that might be a nice inspiration for the animation. And I started sketching out some ideas of space where you see a planet appearing, and near the planet is you see a spaceship floating in the air. And this is basically what I have now here to show for the storyboard part. So yeah, I started messing around in Blender, and where's the Blender theme? It's models. All right. So if you see here, those are some models I made in the end. This ship will be our protagonist ship. I thought like making out all characters and stuff would be way too hard. So I tried to focus on a story that